Hi, guys and girls. I appreciate you joining us. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to listen to our discussion about our JV marketing program. We're very excited about it. We've been doing it a long time, and we've got a lot of interest from folks. So we've got Brody and Mark, our partners on the call. We've also got Nick out of Alabama, who's our one of our JV partners. We've got a few new folks that are on to ask questions, so we figured we'd just record it and answer live. So my name is Jason Roberts. I have been in the real estate business since 1992. Started working for a big real estate company, dealing in mobile home parks and apartment complexes. Got into flipping houses in 1994 and have been doing it ever since. If you know anything about me, we were behind the website. We've got a bunch of them, but we built the website sellmyhouse.com back in the early to mid 2010, 12 area. Capitalized on kind of the market crash because of that website. But for the most part, my background has been rehabbing houses. We do it all over the country right now. I think we're in about 13 states. We're flipping houses in about 13 states. We wholesale. We buy notes. We hold rental property. So you can do a search for under Jason K. Roberts, and you'll find out who I am and some of the stuff I'm attached to. Brody, you want to give them a little bit of background of you?
Yeah. So my name's Brody Allred. I'm been in real estate for 20 plus years. And I started off as getting into appraisals. I did a few investments before that, but not a ton. And I started off getting into appraisals through a friend that actually owned an appraisal firm, and ended up with the highest appraisal license you could have in the state of Florida and Indiana, and did that for years. And then the market changed a little bit, 2008, we all know that. And they changed some appraisal laws. So I also became an agent, and I went from being an appraiser to an agent to going into investing full time. So I've been in there in the trenches for 20 plus years in the real estate game. Now I obviously do investments full time, and we're building, flipping, wholesaling, lease optioning. We're doing all of the above, renting houses. So been a fun walk so far in the real estate world.
And I'm Mark Books. I grew up in a little town northeast Indiana, where it's cold at right now, anyhow. I grew up in the construction background. My dad owned a high-end construction company. I started working there when I was probably about 8 years old, and worked there till I was 18. And I went into the manufacturing home. I used to run a Fleetwood Homes for about 6-7 years. Then I moved to Florida, where we built, I probably built 300 houses in Florida. We rehabbed and flipped 250 plus houses in Florida, and moved to Georgia, where we're doing the same thing here. My specialty is the construction part, the contractor part, new construction, getting quotes on the rehabs. Been doing this for basically my whole life.
And so the interest of full disclosure, Mark and Brody, I met, probably 8 years ago. I did a national radio show, and Brody and Mark were guests several times on my radio show. They were flipping their own houses, and I guess probably about 3 years ago, we got together and kind of started what we have now, which is the Wealth Investors. And basically what we're doing is, we've expanded all over the country and rehab, flip, the whole thing. So those guys are really experienced as well. And we've been dealing with each other for about 7 or 8 years. So this is not a new concept. Just a real quick background on our program. Like I said, we've been doing this type of program for 17 years. The first thing we did was we built a for sale by owner business back in the Midwest, and then we turned that business really into a network. We basically became experts at warm referrals. So by using our call system, or our call center system, we are able to be a third party when we're talking to sellers and get our marketing partners or our realtor partners or our investor partners in the door in that kind of warm referral process. Meaning you're not knocking on the door saying, hey, I'm John Doe and I want to list your house. We all know that most of that very rarely ever works. What we do is we build that rapport for you, and then we say, hey, we're going to send John Smith in to help you get the best price we can. So now they're expecting you. And like I said, we've been doing it for that specific process for 17 years, and it works very, very well. That in this program, you're not the first person to call them. And that's why, because we don't know what hat to send you in on. That's why husband and wife teams are very successful in this business, because there's going to be properties that we just can't buy. You know, they want more than we can pay for it. So we can't send you in banging on the door saying, I want to beat you up on your price. That's what our job is. We send you in and as the realtor to get the listing. So that system has been perfected over time, and it's something that it really, really works. We generate a ton of leads from it. So that's basically the background. You know, from start to finish, is we handle the marketing campaign. We got a call center. It includes mailers and cold calling, and you name it, and we do it. Once we get a hot lead, that's when we get you involved. And then if you're brand new at the investment side, the difference between us and every other guru out there is we're not teaching. That's as simple as we can put it. We're going to create the leads, and we're going to work the leads, and we're going to do deals. And that's how you're going to learn. So that's basically the system.
Yeah. And then also once we get the hot lead, and there's obviously you got to go to the next step, which is gathering information to determine if we want to wholesale it, rehab it, rent it, what is the best exit strategy. And we've also purchased notes and flip notes and done all kinds of stuff with people that have mortgages on owner finance type properties. There's all kinds of options that we need to figure out. So that's kind of where we come into play to also help with that process, to walk someone along the way. And also, if by chance we can't use it as an investment type deal, we can also refer that property and give somebody a warm lead to realtors for listings. So it's a lot better that we've talked to them, we've dealt with them. I'm talking about the sellers. We've dealt with them, and the realtor can walk right in and say, hey, these guys can't help you out. The numbers just don't work, but I can list this property for you and get you, maybe some more money, and go from there. And it's a warm lead instead of cold calling someone on an expired listing. Trust me, I used to do that. So that's where we all step in to help you along the way.
And to expand on that a little bit, it's very, very common for, it depends on the size of the marketing campaign and, really, that attack budget, so to speak. But it's very common in a 2 to 3 month period for our realtor partners to have anywhere from 20 to 30 listings. It's the best system out there for one, obviously we're an investment company. We get paid to find deals, but in terms of listings, it's the best way to walk into a massive amount of listings, because, we break down that wall for you.
Yeah. And just to be clear, we're not going to go into rehabbing properties at the very beginning with some of you. It's a process you have to learn and grow into. I've been doing this for many, many, many years, and it's taken a lot of years to get this perfected. I know how to deal with the contractors. I know how to deal with the different aspects that move through a process and what order to do them in. Because if you don't know what you're doing with these contractors, they'll walk all over you. They'll overcharge you. They'll hit you with, fees later because, that wasn't in the scope of work. I mean, you got to have a list. You got to have a breakdown, a checklist they go through to make sure everything's done. But that's after you've went there and looked at everything to make sure. I mean, you got to know what you're talking about. Otherwise, they'll feed you a line and you'll be scrambling around. You'll go over budget by $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 real quick because you don't know what you're looking for. So we're not really going to jump into rehabs right yet.
Right. And also we want to make it clear that we're not some big guru company that, sells you the dream of flipping houses in your pajamas and making $100,000 a week. That's not real life, nor will it ever be real life in the real estate world. It's we've created this program because if you don't have leads coming in to generate deals for your real estate business or your real estate or your realtor business with listings, you have nothing. That's where everything starts. Plus, along the way, we can train you and help you and teach you, and your feet on the ground, and we're helping you along the way, and everybody makes money. But if you don't start at this point to get the leads and the deals coming in, you have absolutely nothing. You have zero, and you'll never be successful.
And Brody, you know, that's the difference between us and gurus. That pisses me off. I probably shouldn't use that language. But how many people call and say, you know, I spent 25 grand and I don't have a deal. I don't have one deal.
Right. And you could learn every single theory, system, you know, whatever you want to say. You could read 8,000 books, but if you don't know how to get deals coming in, you have zero. So it does you no good.
Well, Brody and I were at a conference one time, and we're sitting in a room. We're sitting in a room full of 1,000 people at least, or maybe more. I don't know. And they asked a question. And, you know, these people have been spending $60,000 with them already. And they asked a question: how many people in this room has had a deal? What it go, Brody? Like, how many of you had one deal? And maybe
I think there was 10 that stood up and they had one deal. Then they asked how many have done 2 to 5, I think it was. And there was like 3 of us stood up. And then they asked how many have done over 5. And there was us and one other guy and his wife that stood up out of 1,000 people.
So a whole conference room that's been paying guru money, and they didn't have no deals. And they're already $60,000 into this, and they've been doing it for months.
That's crazy. Well, let's just be very frank and very clear. The only way we're going to make money is if we buy investment property. That's why we're in it. We want to find flip deals. We want to do a lot of wholesale deals. We want to find rental properties. And so that's why we're doing this. That's why we'll carry some of the load on the marketing side of it to help you build your business. But that's what we're looking for. Our first goal is always going to be to buy that property as an investment. And so we need to make it clear for the realtors out there. If it's a property that we can make money on the investment side, that's the angle we're going to push. Now, most deals are not going to be investment grade type properties. Most deals are listings. And so through this process, we're going to create that kind of warm referral for you, get you in there with your realtor hat on and get those listings built up. You know, we make no money on that side of it. So it's important that everybody understand that. That kind of gives you a little bit of background of who we are. And, you know, obviously we've been doing this a very long time. I'm going to put you guys up in Georgia. Do we have any rental properties?
Yeah.
Just a few.
What do we got? Like 10 in a year, 10?
Yeah, we got roughly 15, I believe. No, we got 7 in Dawsonville. How many we got up in the other area?
We got 3 or 4, 5, something like that in some other areas.
We're rehabbing houses. We got 5 rehabs or something, and then we got 18
new
construction properties going.
Yep.
And we're always buying and selling stuff, so
that's in awesome. One market. Let me ask and see if Nick's on here. Nick, are you on?
Yes, I'm on.
Hey, Nick. Nick is our partner in Birmingham. And Nick, I know you got to go here in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Just briefly, you know, you just started with us a couple years ago. You know, what do you got going in your market right now?
Lots, man. We got a lot of wholesaling. Got some rental properties and some doing some lease options as well. I think what are we at 12? I think we're sitting on 12 rentals or lease option properties, and got a couple that we're wholesaling right now. So,
and we got a lot going rehabs. On. We got some rehabs going. I know Jasper and
Yep. Got a couple rehabs as well.
So
lots of stuff.
Lots of stuff going on. And so, how old are you, Nick?
24.
So, do you remember the conversation you and I had when we were talking about you coming to our annual conference?
Yes, I do. I remember.
What did I say to you?
You said this is best opportunity I could come across at my age. So, and that's true. 100% true. I'm excited, man.
In 2 years, would you consider yourself average or ahead of the game in terms of knowledge?
I'd say at this point, way ahead of the game. I think now it's not even fair, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, at 20, I remember telling you, man, alive, at your age, I wish I would know what you're going to learn.
Yeah.
At 30
Yep.
years, I mean, what do we figure out your income, the cash flow we were creating just from the properties that you're holding is something like what, 9 or 10 grand a month?
Yeah, it was 10.
It's 10 grand a
10
month.
grand.
And that doesn't include the
Yep.
flip for the wholesale deals.
It
We
doesn't.
got,
No, sir.
we just got 2 houses under contract, right?
Mm-hmm. We did.
I
Yep,
think-
over in Center Point.
Well, they 39,000 both.
39,000. Yep, and we'll be able to sell them in the 50s pretty easily.
And we're going to
They're
wholesale.
looking at
them, right?
looking at a nice little spread right there. So
Well, yeah, good deal. So, I mean, you're hearing it from one of our partners. Nick, do you have any idea what were some of the questions you had when you started out?
really, my biggest question when I started was the market crash, because I was not in the game obviously during the first recession that I've ever experienced in my lifetime. But I want to know what you guys plan on doing differently so that to safeguard some of that what's going on or what might happen.
Yeah, so Nick, I'll answer that for you. We're actually kind of counting on the market to at least slow down, because obviously it'll be even easier to get more deals. Right now in the system, there's a whole lot of funny money that I call it, which is basically 100% leveraged money. And all it takes is the market to go down a notch, and all that money starts turning into rental money. People start going bankrupt, foreclosing, that sort of stuff. And it very much reminds me of 2007. Now, are we going to see a major crash like that? Nobody can answer that. I do believe it's going to slow down. It's definitely going to correct, and it's a normal process, in every cycle. If you look at a trend graph of real estate over 50 years, it definitely is cyclical, and it has its ups and downs, and we're definitely in an up right now. We all know that. When there's inexperienced investors, which there are a bunch right now, overpaying for stuff, there's gonna be a problem when the market corrects itself, because they're gonna get over leveraged, they're gonna go bankrupt, and guess what? Guess who's gonna be sitting there waiting on the sidelines to go buy all those properties when that happens?
Gotcha. Okay.
It could be the biggest wealth transfer in the United States history when this happens.
Well, I would jump in there and just say, if you're old enough, and Nick, I know you weren't around for it, but when the last bubble blew up in 2007, most of the mortgages were in the 7% range. Now, some people are saying that obviously that bubble was going to be small compared to this one, because now our governments are completely, debt ridden. So when it happens again, it could be bigger, but the difference is now we're sitting on hundreds of thousands of houses that have 3 to 4% mortgages. So if you know how to capitalize on that, you buy notes, you instead of buying the real estate, you buy the mortgage note and you control it that way, you'll understand how you can create literally, just hundreds of thousands of dollars in equity every single month. So, and then Nick, I think you had one more question.
Yeah. Well, so how can you just explain how I can make money, or, really anybody can make money doing
Well, I
this?
was gonna say, I think by now but I understand your question. And that everyone needs to understand that for the most part, the way this program is going to work is you're the marketing partner on the ground. We're the support staff. And so we've already got the call center. We answer the phone 24/7. We cold call, we handle the mailer campaigns and the website leads and all that other good stuff. But you're the center of the tip of the sword, so to speak, in your market, as you know, Nick. The goal is to create fast cash flow. So we want to wholesale as many deals as we can, as quickly as we can. And so as our partner, Nick makes 50% of every wholesale deal we do. Now we have other partners that are looking to own rental property. That's their goal is I want to buy 3 rental properties a year or 5 rental properties a year. So if we find a rental property, it's yours. We don't make anything on it. You get that. If your goal is to buy 1 a month or however many it is, you get the rental properties. We get nothing on those deals, but we also want to hold rental properties and buy notes and all that, that kind of thing. And so those are deal by deal basis where you're going to make a wholesale fee on it. There is no split, so to speak. So if the margin's tight, but we can buy a real estate note and pay you $500 for it, we're going to do it. There's no way to set a specific plan as to how much you're going to make because every deal is different. And we want smart people. So we don't ever kill a deal because of commission, so to speak. It's either you can make $500 and we can do this, or make nothing and not do it. And we hope that all of our partners understand that $500 is better than nothing. Now, sometimes it's $1,000. It just really depends on the deal. But our goal, and I'll say it again, is to buy every investment property that meets our criteria. That's the only reason we're doing this. Now, with that said, it's going to create a boatload of listings. That's just the byproduct of our process. The business, it is 95% of the people that call in are not in a position to sell their property at a price that we can pay for it and make money. They're going to be listings. So that's why we're asking, husband and wife teams, one being the investor hat, one being the realtor hat. They are by far the best in terms of lead production partners that we have, because the realtor business is going to be a very big part of your income structure, and you keep all that. We don't get any of that. That's just part of what we do. So you're going to make money from wholesaling. You're going to make money if you want rental properties. If you don't, that's all right. You'll make a wholesale fee for any property that we'll either wholesale it to a different company, or if we keep it in house, we'll pay you a wholesale fee. You're going to keep all your listings. You're going to get a fee if we buy the note. The note business isn't as big right now, but it will be if the market crashes. So we might go from doing a lot of rehab flips to just buying notes and trying to restructure that note and keep the person in it. So there's 4 or 5 different ways that our partners get paid. And, to be honest with you, do we care how it is?
Yeah, Jason, the funny thing was, I think it was back in the 80s when the market or the interest rates went way up and the market made some major changes. The joke was somebody bought an FHA loan and a house come with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, hey, that all being said, I think we had some other people on here that had some questions. Are there any other questions?
Yeah, I think, let me look here.
Hang on a second. Go ahead, Jason.
We'll try to keep it organized. Let me see here. Deb, are you on?
Yes.
Hi, Deb. How are you, hon?
Good.
Good. You got a question?
Yeah. How much does this cost?
Okay. Yeah, great question. So most mentorship programs, I'm sure people on here probably know all this, but they can be anywhere from $2,500 to $25,000. And they teach you how to wholesale and flip and all that. And they have systems. Most of them are outdated and they don't even do it anymore for a living. They did it 5 years ago and none of that stuff works. But I won't even go down that rabbit trail. The problem is you can learn how to do that stuff all day long, but you don't know how to get deals. And you need to learn how to process those deals and what the best exit strategies are once they come in. So what we're about is we get you the deals coming in, then we walk you along the process, and you're feet on the ground in that area, territory, whatever it is. And that keeps your income, your cash flow, your business running very efficiently and smoothly. But if you don't have a deal through the lead system, you have nothing. You can't, you can learn all you want, but that doesn't make you any money. So the key is you have to understand and have somebody or understand how to get these leads and deals coming in. And so the cost is based on marketing programs. Jason, do you want to expand on that, or?
Yeah, I mean, so we've got really 3 programs, and let's be honest and be as frank as we can, because we're not doing the bait and switch thing. You're not going to have any type of business unless you do some kind of marketing. Now, some marketing you can do for free. You know, you might be able to do driving around your neighborhood, knock on the door, skip trace. You might be able to do that, but you're never going to do that at scale. And to be honest with you, if that's all you do, you don't need us. You know, what we're here for is to expand a business. We want every one of our partners making at least 6 figures, and we want you to be in a position where you make the decision where, you know what, I'm not going to, I want to keep this one. So we have 3 programs, and the starter package is $24.95, and that basically is a month worth of leads. And so what we do is we hammer your market for a month. We try and generate as many leads as we can. You know, but after that month, you know, now we got to make some decisions. And this is probably also best described as our test, you know, marketing strategy. We're going to get some stuff out of it, and you're definitely going to get listings out of it. We have to test your market in terms of, you know, trying to figure out whether or not it's a good investment market. Then we've got a second package, which is, you know, we always call it the get her done package, I guess, but it's $49.95, and it's really about 2 to 3 months worth of leads. It's you know, it's really for full-time people. You know, you're going to get a lot of leads from the realtor side of it. We're going to get deals from and I'm going to give you an example of our Central Florida marketing partner. They did that package, and it's been going for the last 4 months. I'll give you some examples at the end of this thing, but that's going to get us really, really going. And then we've got the $99.95 package, which is for, you know, the experts, the folks that are wanting to kick up their business and want to do 4 or 5 deals a month. So I know that a lot of people that's going to, you know, like, I don't have $2,500, and I understand. But if you're starting a business, you have to find it. You have to figure it out, because without this marketing, and Brody and Mark and Nick can all tell you, without a marketing system, you're chasing MLS deals that are way overpriced, that have no margin, using probably hard money that you can't really afford, so that when you sell that property, if you're lucky to sell it, you're going to make maybe 5% if you're lucky, unless the market slows like it's starting to do, and you're going to have a negative 5% equity position in it, doing it that way. You got to be direct with the sellers, and you have to have a system. You can send out, you know, and they talk about mailers and signs. What happens if somebody calls you at 11 o'clock at night? Do you want to be tied to your phone all night long? You know,
They will. And
they do. And they absolutely do. We've got folks that answer the phone 24/7. So you'll never, ever miss a lead. And then we scrub the lead for you. So, Deb, does that answer your question?
Does. Thank you.
Excellent. Let me see here. Heather.
Yes, you mentioned
you on?
website.
Go ahead. You had a question?
Yes, you mentioned something on your website about funding the deal. What does that mean?
Well, we're basically a hedge fund. We secure money from Wall Street to utilize that funding to do several types of deals. I mean, for example, if you're going to wholesale something and you have to close it, we can get 1-day transactional funding for that. And you find a house you want to retail flip it. It doesn't work, you know, it doesn't need any work. We still got to purchase that house. There's other ways of doing it, but some people require you to actually purchase the house and then resell it. So basically, we purchase property with our funding sources so you can keep buying more. You know, your goal is to find the deals. Our goals and what we take care of is we control all the funding. So there's never an issue with deals when you get them, whether or not you can close them or not close them. We take care of that for you.
Okay.
Does that answer your question? I mean, I know there's multiple ways that you'll need funding. I'll give you an example. Let's say you know, through our marketing efforts, let's say you were just doing it on your own, Heather, and you found somebody, you're new, right?
Right. Yes.
So let's say you send out some mailers and somebody calls you back and says, let me give you an example. You're smart enough to understand that the house is worth $100,000 and they have a mortgage on it at $92,000. What would normally happen in that situation? Brody, Mark, jump in.
I'm out. That's the normal.
Normal. You can't do anything with it, right?
You're going to lose money on it by the time you go through the whole thing and pay. If you're paying, just in those situations, if you had to buy even get hard money because you know what you're doing, you're going to lose your shorts.
Right.
Now, in our situation, what we would do is we'd probably call that bank and say, hey, you know what? We'll buy that note from you at 70 cents on the dollar. That way you don't have to go through foreclosure. You don't have to mess with it. We'll just buy that thing outright. And I can tell you that because I just did it. 2 days ago, we had the exact same deal where we were negotiating a short sale on a house. And we said, you know what? We'll just buy the note. Note. They sold it to us at 50 cents of what they owed.
Wow.
Because we bought the note.
Yep.
So you need funding for that. So there's two things at play there, Heather. Obviously understanding what our options are in terms of those kind of high, low equity deals, but also having the funding in place to be able to take advantage of it.
Right.
So that's what, that's what we do.
Being creative, because we're very creative. We've got many ways of doing things, and having the money to fund them is what will get you deals and will get you a lot of equity.
Does that answer your question, Heather?
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. I know you had another one. I'll get to you. Is Angela on?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Hi, young lady.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so my question is, why is your system better than others?
That's a great question. And that sounds like a guru question, actually. Let me answer it. Let me answer it this way. I would, and I know this isn't fair to you, but I would, if you were a guru, and I know you're not, I would ask you to give me an example of your system. Because to be honest with you, our system, you can't even really, we're not a guru. A guru's job is to, let me ask you this, Ange, and be honest. Have you ever been to a guru seminar?
Many.
Many. How much money have you spent on guru seminars?
An embarrassing amount of money.
All right, then you don't have to say anything. Okay.
Brody and I have a number for you that we don't.
Yeah, you don't even want to go down that road.
Well, and so there you go. A guru, unfortunately, most of the time, gurus do not flip houses. They're not actually doing what they're teaching. They teach theory, and that theory does not necessarily work in the real world. Right now, to be fair, one of the big things they were teaching was virtual wholesaling. You get a property under contract, and you can be sitting in your jammies, like Brody said, in Florida, and in Kansas City, Missouri, you get a property under control, and you're going to flip it to another investor. Now, in theory, you can do that. It does happen in some cases where, you get it locked up at the right price, and you can sell that contract to another investor and make 10 grand. It does happen on occasion. But what happens if you have no money and you can't close that thing? What happens to your deal if the investor that is wanting to buy it says, I need 10 more days before I can close it, and your seller says no? If you don't close the day of the contract, you're out. How much money do you think you'll make?
None.
None. That's what they're teaching, man. That's what's so frustrating. We are not, your money is going to marketing, not school. I've said this many, many times over the years. You cannot learn real estate in a damn ballroom in a hotel.
That's
It
right.
does not work that way. You have to be on the ground. Mark, what is the biggest frustration you have when it comes to flipping?
Contractors.
Exactly.
And they don't teach you that in guru school.
They don't, do they?
Nope. They tell you, just go find a contractor. Well, what are you looking for? Who do you want? What is a good price for stuff today? I mean, you can hire somebody that's just maybe hire a contractor that works in downtown Atlanta and on $2 million houses all the time. You know, is he going to give you the same price
Right.
on something you're doing up in a little town that the highest selling house they have there is 250,000? No, I mean, they don't teach you that. That's a trial and error you don't ever want to go down.
Right. So Angela, to answer that question directly, the difference is the money that you spent learning from gurus, and hopefully you learned something, but it didn't turn into money for you.
No.
That money is going to be used to create actual deals, people to talk to. Now, are you a realtor?
Me? Yeah.
I didn't hear you.
Did you think, so are you talking to me? No, I'm not a
Yes.
realtor.
Are you a realtor?
No, I'm not.
Heather, are you a realtor?
Yes, I'm a realtor.
Okay. So ask me that question later, Heather, and let me explain that realtor side of it. But Angela, the difference is whatever money you spend in this system is for marketing, not teaching. You get all that from us for free as we're doing it per deal. You know,
Okay.
I said it earlier, we're here to do investment deals. That's the only way we make money. We do not get paid for teaching or training. We get paid to find deals. So we are in this with every one of our marketing partners. Does that answer your question?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for taking the time to answer that.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate that question. Let me see here. All right, Deb, you said you got another question?
Yeah. How many people do you put in a territory, like, in the same place?
Well, we're only looking for a select few. So we have one marketing partner per territory, and there's a specific reason for that. We don't want onesies and twosies partners. The only way that we can build this and create consistent deals flow is by finding great partners who understand the marketing side of our business. You are the feet on the ground, and you completely control the marketing budget for this area. It's too hard to mix marketing partners in one area, because you'd be walking over each other and we'll be getting the same deals. You know, people will be sending us the exact same deals, or you'll be mailing to the same people, and people get mad when they, however we're marketing to them. You know, if you're bugging the same person too many times, they'll get upset with you. I mean, we know we get rejection stuff in the mail. It's just, so you gotta be real careful with that, so we just don't do it. We expect you to expand with us. That means bigger marketing budgets as the cash flow increases every month. We have a goal of being one of the biggest marketing companies in every area that we want to be in, but we're going to be very specific about the areas that we actually partner with people in.
And let me expand on that a little bit, Mark. To be fair, there are certain markets where we have to be California, for example, Phoenix, a lot of the bigger areas in Florida are super, super competitive. So we will take that risk with you, but I'll be dead honest with you. If you come to me from Orlando, for example, Orlando is a super hot market and a super competitive market. If you have a realtor partner or you are a realtor, we'll do it with you because you'll get a lot of listings. Our concern, man, we're just normal guys that, trust me, do not want to take advantage of anybody. We prefer just saying, listen, don't do it, wait, instead of jump on board and us not understand that market. So, it's important that we know what market you're in and what that market conditions are like. So be prepared if you're saying, if you're calling from Phoenix, for example, we're going to have a tough conversation about, the first question I'm going to ask you is, do you have a realtor? Are you a realtor? Do you have one that you're partners with or can be partners with? Because if you do, then yes, it's worth doing it. Finding investment deals is a little bit harder in those markets. So hopefully that explains it, but we just want to be as honest and open as we can be. Now, other markets, man, it is, you've heard from Nick and what we're doing in Georgia and Florida, and certain parts of, Florida are really, really hot, but we also kind of are doing niche products. So, does that answer your question, Deb?
Does, thanks.
I think one more point I would make on that is the mechanics of this also don't work if you have too many people. We're going to give you a phone number. You're going to have your own phone number for that market, and we can't have 3 or 4 people using that phone number. It doesn't work.
Right.
So that's why we usually typically just do one person per area. Now, if you're calling from Chicago, Illinois, you're not going to be the only one there.
Right.
But you're going to have your own area.
Okay, thanks.
Ange, you said you had a question?
I do. What is your selection process to find a marketing partner?
That's a really, really good question. Like I said, we don't want to be in every single market right now. That doesn't necessarily mean that we don't want to be when the market corrects. But like I said, at this time, some markets are very competitive. So our first question is going to be, are you a realtor or do you have a realtor partner? That'll help us understand whether your market will work and whether it's worth the risk of investing marketing dollars there. But at the moment, we're basically looking for partners that are aggressive. And again, if you follow the 80-20 rule, 20% of the folks in this world are aggressively trying to build a business or work for a company it's all about income, and they work hard. We put in a lot of hours doing what we do. Our ultimate goal in every area is to have a marketing budget and a consistent marketing budget. And that's going to vary from place to place. But the folks the position we want to be in is we want to be spending anywhere from at least $5,000 to $10,000 a month in marketing and generating $100,000 a month in revenue from one of many different areas. But the goal is to get to that point where we can maybe even be doing $20,000, $25,000 a month. If you get to that point, you're doing 5 to 7 deals a month, and the money is huge. So selecting, we got to select the right partner. We need you to do certain things, and we can guide you, but we can't make you do it. And so looking for those people that want to get up in the morning and love what they're doing that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Does that answer that question?
Perfect. Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay.
how-
Heather.
Yeah, how do we know you guys are real? I mean, we see all this, guru stuff, and so what makes you guys different?
Yeah, so Heather, I can answer that. So I would challenge anybody to ask a guru to go either A, show them a video of all the stuff they're doing, or B, go to their actual location and see what they're doing. And it won't happen. I think on one of our websites, we actually have a video of showing everybody our properties and explaining some things. But anyways, the proof is in the pudding. We do it full time. And I think with our larger package, we even invite somebody to come spend a few days with us and, see all of our properties, see what we're doing. It kind of gives them a boost, and it shows them we're real, and we're willing to do that because we are real. And most guru systems, obviously, they're not going to do that. They're just going to sell you a bunch of material that you read over and don't do anything with. I've talked to a lot of people that run into that situation.
I'd happily let you put a tracker on me and follow me around all day long.
Yeah, exactly.
we got North Georgia area. Just in North Georgia alone, we have 18 new houses we're building. We had 30 rehab houses. We're about done with those. Keeping 7 of those for rentals. I got stuff in even up farther North Georgia for rental properties we're keeping and rehabs. I mean, so some days I'm traveling 200 miles a day, and I might be looking at, 15 properties a day that are ours. And I have to do it every other day to catch up with all the ones I missed in between. So there's a lot going on up here, and it's all due to marketing. Without marketing, we have nothing. So that's what we focus on, and that's what gets us our deals. I mean, we just in rentals alone, we have over $500,000, almost $1 million in equity just in our rental properties we got from marketing. And I can show you HUDs, I can show you statements, we can show you anything you want to know to prove to you that we're real. But like I said, we'll put stuff on websites. You'll see what all the deals we're doing.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
And Heather, I mean, like Mark just said, I think the difference is if you put somebody on the spot and said, hey, show me some HUDs, I would guess most of them are going to try and figure out how to weasel out of having to do that. But with us, I mean, I think we have right now as a company in inventory, man, we've probably got 30 rental properties. We're flipping another 50 or 60 houses right now in multiple markets. We've got some big markets around the country, and then we're doing one or two deals in testing in certain markets. So I don't have any problem whatsoever showing you HUD statements, so that you understand that we're real. But I do think that what Brody just mentioned is we're one of the few people where most of these gurus go to your market and you sit in a ballroom and they teach you how to do this. We're going to tell you, if you sign up for, our basically the big package, you're our full JV partner, so to speak. You're going to spend, if your goal is rehabbing, you're going to go spend 2 days with Mark.
Yeah.
He's going to walk you in and out of houses. Here's our new construction. Now, are we going to start doing new construction with new folks? No. No. But we'll get you to a point where you can.
That's right.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
All right, good. All right, Deb, you have another question?
Yeah, I do. I was just sitting here thinking, I mean, this all sounds so awesome, but do you leads?
Yeah, I will guarantee you that you'll get leads. Now, some of them are going to be better for listings. Some of them are going to be great investment deals. We also get questions about the control of the lead flow. When you understand that it's a warm referral system, obviously we're going to get a bunch of leads that we'll show you, but you're not even going to really know about or even have to deal with. Let's just say it that way, because they have to go through a funnel. So the funnel's like, broad like this or wide, and then it gets to narrow down to where you get, you might get a 200 leads coming in, and it boils down to you get 10 properties out of it. You might get 10 listings, or whatever that is. So we definitely will get leads. There's no question in my mind about that. It's a question of whether or not they'll be great for investments or listings. And sometimes it's half and half. Sometimes it's more listings versus investment deals. And sometimes it's the other way. It just depends on where we're at, what we're doing, that sort of stuff, and the location. But we've definitely been doing this for years. So we've fine-tuned, I guess you could say, the best, most efficient way to get leads coming in without spending an astronomical amount of money. Because Jason, you can chime in here, but I think there are some people that I know of or talk to, they've spent $20,000 to $30,000 a month on getting deals, and they're barely breaking. I mean, it's crazy the risk they're taking.
Well, that's a great question, because we know people, we even have friends that are gurus that are charging people 20 grand just for a mentorship program. And
Right.
we know some of those guys, and we know how many fail. It's easy to tell somebody you're going to make a fortune and charge them to do it and get their hopes up. It's not as easy to actually get in the trenches and make it happen. And then now the folks that are doing a lot, let's be honest, man, most of the new students that are coming out of these wholesale classes, they're trying to scrape together $500 or $1,000 to do a mailer campaign or a sign campaign that's going to generate two calls. I mean, I was just reading a guy on Facebook. He had 300 bandit signs, got 2 phone calls out of it.
Yeah, and then the cops called him and told him the district attorney was coming after him.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So you got to know how to do it. And let's be fair, man. The reason we're not going to teach you how to do it is that's our secret sauce. I'm not going to go to explain to everybody how over 17 years we've perfected the system to get hot leads. We're giving you an opportunity kind of join our program so we can share it together. But that system is, I mean, it's a process. You have to say certain things. You have to know how to deal with the seller. And, that's why trust me, our goal is at some point we're spending $20,000 a month in marketing in a market, because that's going to generate a massive amount of cash flow.
Right.
Yep.
So, and well, Heather, I was going to say that
I was just gonna say, like, being a realtor, like myself, how's your system gonna help me? How's the program gonna help me?
you're going to benefit more than anybody. As from the realtor side of it, if you just look at the numbers, and that's what, most of these gurus don't talk about, is normally if someone says, here's $100,000 house, in order to wholesale it, you got to buy it for less than $50,000, depending on how much work is in it. In this market, that is very, very difficult to do. Very difficult to do. More than likely what's going to happen is they're going to say, you know what, I'll sell my house for 95. Well, so the wholesale side of it's just totally cut out of it. Well, we've already created that lead. We've already talked to them. We got to, all we got to do now is put our realtor hat on and say, listen, I understand, it's fair that you want to get as much as you can. We're not going to be able to help you do that. But we have a realtor named Heather. Heather, I'm going to have Heather call you and schedule a time. Matter of fact, tell me what day works for you. What day and time works for you? And I'm going to have Heather come over there and help you figure out how to get the money you deserve. Now, let me ask you that question, Heather. Do you think that that's better? That process is better than knocking on a door or sending a for sale by owner an email or a mailer letter saying, hey, I want to list your property?
Absolutely.
I mean, you're going to get, how many more listings do you think you'll get by getting a third-party referral than you trying to do it on your own?
A lot more. I guarantee that.
You will benefit. The realtor side of this is going to, you benefit a ton from it because it's going to build your listing base. Now, you're probably going to be mad at us because your phone's going to ring all the time. So you're going to lose some of your weekends.
Yeah, that's okay. As long as I'm making some money.
As long as you, I mean, I think I've seen it. Listen, and I'll give you some of the, if you call and ask about JKR Realty, we don't own that business anymore, but that was the realty business that we built on our FSBO business. So what we did was we created a for sale by owner business, right when the internet came out. And we had a ton of those. We were charging just a flat fee for people to list it. And then we got the idea that, man, most of these aren't selling. They're priced too high. They need realtor advice. So we brought in a realtor referral program. And so we would give them a warm referral. We'd just say, hey, I'm going to send Heather over, help you make some decisions about how to get your house sold. So you're the first person in the door. Every other realtor's knocking on the door and they hate us. Absolutely hate us, because we'd open a market and they'd have 25 listings in 45 days. So the difference is the for sale by owner business isn't what it used to be, but the way to get to that seller is the exact same. It's the exact same process we used back then. So hopefully that answers your questions.
Yeah, thank you.
Has anybody got anything else?
I don't.
I thought somebody said something about long-term or like rentals.
Yeah, Nick asked, he shot a text over, asked about, rehab, and probably explain to everyone, when that option is possible.
Okay.
Rehabbing is about finding great deals and controlling the contractors. That's the bottom line. We find great deals through our marketing system to rehab. The problem is you'll have to have experience or gain experience. Somebody's got to teach you or spend time with you, teach you how to manage contractors. The biggest thing is we're using Wall Street money. So these rehabs have to be done quickly. You've only got a short amount of time to get them bought, get them rehabbed, and get them resold. Otherwise you start losing your money in holding costs and interest and stuff like that. So the biggest thing is if you want to do rehabs, you're going to have to spend some time learning about it long before you just go in and grab one right off the bat. It's not going to work. it probably won't work out so well for you unless you got somebody on your team that's helping you with that part.
Hey, and I just thought of this, but Heather, I think you sent me a text or something earlier and asked me, you said something about you have investors that want rental property. Let me explain how that would work for you. So let's say in your situation, you're a realtor. So you've got clients that are looking for rental property. Basically what we do, and this is great, but what we'll do in that situation is we'll do the marketing campaign. We'll find the property. You're going to present it to your investor and charge them a 3% commission for finding it, while we also get a wholesale deal for doing it. So typically what we'll do is you would get, in your situation, you'd get the realtor fee out of it. But from the investment side of, there's probably going to be a wholesale fee involved in that somewhere as well. So if there's, let's say it's, to make it easy, it's $100,000 house that your investor is interested in buying because he wants to hold it as a rental, and we lock it up for $80,000. We're gonna be able to wholesale that thing for $95,000, for example, and you're going to be able to tack on a 3% commission to sell it to them.
Okay.
All of it comes from marketing. So
yeah, that makes sense. So I want long-term holds also. How does the rental business work as well?
Well, that's kind of what I'm explaining is whether you want them. Now, if your family wants the rental property, we're going to ask you a couple questions. How many, and what do you have a funding source in order to hold rental? So you might have a line of credit or something like that. You just need to find the deals, and you're going to say, listen, I can do one a month. I can do one every 3 months. Or in some cases, we've got bigger folks that are, in the Midwest, we've got a company looking for 15 a month. So it's huge volume. So in that case, it just depends on who the buyer is. But in your personal situation, we want everyone to hold real estate long-term because it is a great way to build wealth. But we have to understand how that's being funded. So if you've got the funding to buy one, great, it's yours. You're going to make that decision basically as to how many you're going to keep. And then once you get yours filled up, we'll look at our side of it. And if there's another one a month that makes sense, we may keep it. We'll give you a wholesale fee for it. But in a situation where, as a realtor, most don't understand this opportunity gives you the opportunity basically to go find rental investors and sit down with them and ask them the question, how many do you need? We get a ton of deals. How many do you need? And trust me, I've been traveling a lot this summer, early fall, and most of these big hedge fund rental buyers are paying almost retail for rental properties. We help them. We can get them better deals. We can knock 5% off here and there, make a little bit of money, but it's guaranteed. And so as the realtor, not only can you find them a deal and earn a commission on it, or earn the wholesale side of it. That's, in certain places you got to be careful because you're a realtor, but you can also now find the tenant, and get paid for management. It all starts with marketing.
That's right.
Yeah.
Does that answer it?
Yes, thanks.
Yeah, I just want to back up and talk about rehab, and just one more thing. I'm not discouraging anybody from doing rehabs. It's just going to be on one of those base-to-base things. And obviously, if you're in a good market for rehabbing, we will definitely discuss and try to integrate it into your system if that's what you really want to do. But it's got to be in a good area, good marketing to start off if you've never done them before.
Yeah, there's got to be good margins.
Yeah.
And, they're tight in a lot of places. Angela, you have another question?
I do. What are the actual results from some of these marketing campaigns? I mean, can you give me some real numbers?
Nice. Well, might as well get right to it, huh?
Yeah, sorry, to the point.
No, that's fair. That's a fair question. Let's use, you've heard from Mark and Brody, and you've heard from Nick. Let me talk about our Central Florida partner. They did the Getting Serious package. That's the $49.95 marketing package, and they did that. They started that in about June, and so far from that package, and obviously, that package has also created an opportunity to continue reinvesting in marketing. But from that initial package, let me see here. I'll have to go off the top of my head. I think the Summerfield house bought for $40K, spent $10K rehabbing it, should sell for $90K. So figure 30 grand in profit. Bellevue, the Bellevue property. Oh, that's the one I was telling you about. We just found out about that one. We were trying to buy it for $32,000. That was what we were going to have to pay to bring the mortgage current, basically just get her out of it. Well, then we ended up, kind of turning and trying to buy the note. They agreed to sell us the note for 16 grand. It's going to cost about 20. I don't think it'll be that much to rehab it. It's worth 85 to 90. So figure that'll be a great profit of say 40 grand. Then we got one in Fort McCoy. That is just a $8,500 mobile home. We spent $2 grand rehabbing it. Our goal was just to rent it for $650 a month. But we could sell that thing today for $28,000 to $30,000, right around there. Then we got a property. It's actually two properties on one lot. We paid 10 grand for both properties. Now you can't sell that. We can't really flip that, but we bought it with the understanding that we're going to keep it and rent them out. We're going to spend probably 30 grand to get them in rentable condition. If we were to sell them to a rentable investor, we'd probably get 100, maybe 110. But once they're fixed up, we're going to get probably $1,600 a month on what'll be a $40,000 investment. And we're going to have an estimated equity position of at least 50, but the cash flow is what's going to make that one work. I know that we do also have two other houses under contract in that. I mean, they were cheap, like $8,000 to $10,000 houses that, need work nobody else wanted. But I think once we rehab them, they're worth 50 or 60 easily. We're going to keep them and rent them. They'll rent for $700 a piece. So each one of those, we're talking about probably 30 grand each in equity. And I know she's got another 8 to 10. We're negotiating, in the pipeline so if you look at our average deal, it's 25, 30 grand. So there's another 100,000 in equity, if you get those. And here's the kicker. She's not a realtor. We are not doing any deals in terms of getting listings or she would have had at least 10 listings. So, I mean, I would say it's very fair to say on a $5,000 investment that now, again, is more than that now, but that was the initial investment. We have created $250,000 in profit / equity. I mean, that's unheard of.
Right.
And we're doing that in many, many markets. That's just one market. I guess what I'm saying is we're putting our money where our mouth is. And one of the things that we always talk about is we don't want to be gurus. I don't want to make money spending my time trying to convince anybody that you need to get in this business. I want you to be convinced to be in the business, but you just need somebody to guide you and help you. And that's what we're here for. So.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Does that answer your question?
It does.
I
Very.
think Angela, you've been on this call the whole time. So, I mean, we've talked about, Birmingham and Georgia and Florida, and we're in Kansas City and Oklahoma and Baltimore and New Jersey. And, we've got properties in Illinois and
Kentucky,
Cincinnati,
Kentucky,
Arkansas. Yeah. I mean, so we're doing it all over. To be honest with you, what you need to do is decide, how serious you want to be and, commit to something. and let's figure out, what works for you, and let's do some market research and make sure your market's a good market. If you are a realtor, investment marketing or market conditions don't matter. You're going to get listed.
Okay.
Just that simple. So I don't see anybody else having questions. Is that everything?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. It's been very helpful.
You're very, very welcome. Guys, you got anything you want to say before we end?
No, we appreciate you guys getting on here with us. Hopefully we can help you out in your future endeavors of, real estate investing. If it's, I can tell you this, the freedom it gives you and the help with the marketing, that covers a lot. That goes a long way.
That's awesome. I can't wait.
Mark, we talk about it all the time, but if you don't have deals, Brody.
You control the deals, you control your area. That's for darn sure.
Control the world.
That's it. Control the deals, control the world.
So that's our program in a nutshell, guys. So hopefully, obviously you've got our information. If you've got any other question, don't hesitate to let us know. And we'll if you're interested, we'll schedule a strategy session and talk through your market.
Thanks everyone for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.